Hi everyone, so today I will show you how to build a API using ConditionalRouter Mediator. So let's start how to build that one. So quickly let me go through Integration Studio and build one new API XML file. So here create new artifact, right? Just click next. So here I am giving one name like ConditionalRouter API. So here let me give context conditional, modify this version type to context and giving context number here, this is the version, okay, and let me finish this one. So meanwhile it will take some second to build XML file. Let me go through the requirement analysis and explain you what we are trying to do it these videos. So first of all, in conditional mediator, so this conditional mediator, it will decide. So we need to go through our there are multiple condition you can add in this mediator. So for this video, I'm just giving you few example. We'll take two name, one for Narayan I'm taking and one for I'm taking Kuna. So these two name, if I am sending Narayan here, so it will give one response, like one positive response, one successful response. If I am sending name as a Kuna, so it will give you one please check the name is correct or not. That kind of negative scenario we will check. So for achieve this functionality, so in conditional mediator is little bit different. This one we can achieve through switch and we can achieve through filter, but how we can achieve through conditional mediator? So conditional mediator basically we need to do what? If you go through Integration Studio, right? So let me explain you few things. So this is ConditionalRouter Mediator, okay? So let me drag and drop here. So this ConditionalRouter Mediator, if you right click and go through show property view, right? So here it is asking conditional after and conditional root branches, okay? So these conditional root branches, what we need to do? So this conditional root branch I am adding one for one condition, we need to create two sequence file. Just for example, we need to create two sequence file. So these two sequence file, one sequence file as per the conditional router, it will ask you one property value. So what we need to do? So conditional mediator is accepting this kind of evaluator, okay, for equal source. So this source name, we need to call our a particular property. If you are using that, we can call, and the type we need to call property, and here we need to whatever request we are sending through as a request body, right? So it will validate that one. So if this one is succeed, then it will call positive scenario. If second one is succeed, then it will call negative scenario. So let's start in real time example, how what I'm trying to achieve here and what I'm trying to explain you, so you can easily understand. So quickly let me go through Integration Studio. So let me delete again and add it again, okay. So this conditional router, if you right click and go through show property view, right? So it is asking by default it is false only. If I close this one and save this file and go through source view, right? So if you see here, conditional router after modifying it is true, okay. Let me go through design view again and click again, go through show property view. So it's selected, then only that's why it is showing true only. If I uncheck and save this file and go to source view, right? Now it is here, you can see, right? So by default it is false only. If you are selecting that option, then only you can see here true. So this video what all functionality we want to achieve here, let's complete that one. Right click, go through show property view. So keep the same, this one to false only. So it is second one is showing conditional root branches. If you click this plus icon, right? So we need to use two conditions. So as per our requirement analysis, we need to use one for positive scenario and one for negative scenario, right? So if I go through Integration Studio, so just click this one. Now this default option, so if you click default, it will ask you, if you click workspace, right? So it will ask you either you need to use either registry or you need to use sequence. So what I mean sequence. So these all are so we need to do what? We need to create two sequence file. So as I mentioned before, right? So if you go through here, as I mentioned before, it called two sequence. So first sequence we need to use for positive scenario, second sequence condition. If second sequence property is condition is succeed, we need to call negative scenario. Okay, so what we need to do, go through Integration Studio. Let me close this one. So if you scroll down, right, so there is one sequence folder is here. Just right click this one, go through new and create one sequence file. So I'm adding here success scenario. Okay, so let me modify here. So this one we need to use for success scenario. This means this particular sequence file, and one more sequence file we need to use for negative scenario. Same like go through sequence. So click next. So here, so negative scenario, finish. So as I mentioned, like positive scenario will take one, will call one sequence file, and the negative scenario will call one more sequence file. So here, so now you can see like there is one more sequence file just now I created. This is for negative scenario we will use here. So let's start like how to complete our conditional root mediator. So go through this main XML file, right click this conditional root mediator XML file, go through show property view again. So here click add option. So if you see here, right, so it is asking you property and break after root. So just select that one. So it is asking you to select the target sequence file. Okay, just click this one. Then it will ask you like type of key of specified from you want to copy, means select that file from a registry or workspace. So as we already created in the workspace itself, so click workspace. So now you can see it is asking you two type of element provider, one for like a registry and one for sequence. So we need to expand sequence, expand this demo config. So here we need to use success scenario. Okay, click OK. So now the second one, as I mentioned in the requirement analysis phase, right, so we need to use two type of evaluator, one for success scenario and one for we need to use for negative scenario. So as I mentioned, like so this source, we are calling from where? We are calling from property. So this property, so what we need to do, we need to create one property mediator, means as I mentioned this last flow, right, so we need to create one property mediator. So that property mediator will configure one source value. We will not use two value, we will use single value and we will iterate that one. So go through Integration Studio. So let me cancel this one, close this one. So we need to do what? We need to call property mediator here. Okay, so let me take one property mediator here. Either like, see, there is two approach you can do. Either you can use two property mediator, like correct name and invalid name I'm using here. So either you can create two property mediator, or else you can create one name, and from there we can call, like while we are passing request body, like example, like we are sending this request. From this request, if you are passing, and one property mediator also enough to handle that one. Anyhow, like let me show you, like so this property mediator, right click, go through show property view. So here the property I'm giving like I'm adding your name only. Okay, name val. So this name val, let me click this value as a expression, click this one. So this one, modified this one to expression. Okay, so here what I need to do, as I mentioned, like we need to call what? We need to call this expression. So whatever within the request body we are passing on field name, right, so this name value it will pick that one. So it's same like XPath we are using before the earlier videos, right, so same thing only. So this JSON-eval $date, that particular name value which we are fetching from the request, click OK. So now like close this one and save this file. If you go through source view, right, so this source view value, what it will do, it will paste the request, whatever request you are sending through the payload, right, that it is storing as a variable name val. Okay, so from name val we will do what? We need to fetch the data and we will iterate one by one. So go through conditional route mediator, go through show property view. So here click this branches again. So here target sequence we need to do what? Select again, go through workspace again. So this sequence demo config, right, we need to select your success scenario, click OK. And this evaluator expression, so as I mentioned before, either you can like use two property and call, or else the single property like we will configure in as a source value, and we will call this, we'll check this name is there in the request or not. So what I'm trying to do here, so here let me go through Integration Studio. So this type is there, source is there. So what I mean, this value I need to use what, I need to pass here naren. Okay, I passing here naren, and this source value from where we are from where we are getting the value. So as I mentioned, we need to call that particular name, right? So here I'm adding here what correct name, but while I configure this property mediator, I added what name val. Okay, so from name val we are fetching like the property value, and property value is what type of property, that is property or what, that is property. So I'm adding here property, click OK and finish this one. This is like one success condition. If you save this one, let me close this one and go through source view, right? So if you see here, this is one conditional router. Within that conditional router, I'm adding one more conditional route. So within this conditional route, we are adding condition here. So what I mean here, like this property value name val must be matched with your source val. Okay, and this property, so is it property or is it property mediator or what kind of mediator? So is it property mediator, right? So I added a property. Now what value, like as I mentioned through request body name, that value I'm passing naren, right? It will do what, if this one is matching with our property naren, then it will call what, it will call the sequence mediator, means it will call the sequence file. Okay, so like one condition is done. So what we need to do, so easy approach, like let me copy this one, go through design view, and here let me right click again and go through show property view, add one more branch here. So this branch, so let me click here, go through workspace. So here expand the sequence file, go through negative scenario, click OK, and this evaluator, let me paste this one here. So here I'm adding one more field here, Kuna, and let me click save. And if you want, you can select this one also after root, that is also not a matter. Same need to do for success scenario also, select this one and finish it. Now we already did for two synapse, two route branches we added here. So close this one. Now what we need to do, I want to add one logger. Let me add one logger here. Right click this one, go through show property view. Here I'm adding log level to full. Okay, and save this file. Now I want to add one Respond Mediator to call back the response. Let's save this file. Now we need to do what, let me go through success scenario. So we need to add some response here, right? One for success scenario and one for negative scenario. We need to add some response, correct? So what I need to do, let me go through Payload Mediator and drag and drop one Payload Mediator. Okay, one for success scenario, and we need to do one for, let me add one more Payload Mediator here. So this one is for negative scenario. So if our let me go through source view, if you in the request, if you are passing the value as an naren, so it will call what, it will call your success scenario. If you are passing Kuna as a request name, then it will call what, it will call the negative scenario. Okay, now let me go through source view, right click, show property view. So here I modify this one to JSON. So let me add one JSON value. Okay, so I'm adding here status, I'm adding name matched, and save this file. So this one property mediator. So inside here let me drag and drop one logger. So we want to modify is there any issue or something. So show property view also log level, let me modify this one to full. Okay, so now go to negative scenario, right click this one, go through show property view. Here a media type I modified to JSON. So here within the JSON curly bracket, right, I'm adding here status. I'm checking please check your name and save this file. This is for negative scenario. Okay, then one more log mediator I'm adding here for monitoring purpose. So in show property view, let me modify that log level to full, so we can see the full log. So now our full flex flow is ready. Let's verify again, negative scenario payload is there and log is there. Go through source view and verify this one, that is fine. Now go through here also source view, name match, this is also fine. Now our final mediator, so this is one condition we are passing, and this is one more condition. This is for positive scenario and this one is for negative scenario. This is also fine. Now let me quickly go through export application. So here we'll build a new car file to verify our source code is working or not. So export application, So here I'm giving condition route mediator API. Next, so here expand this demo. So we no need to choose anything. So expand this demo config. Okay. So here I'm selecting success scenario file, and we need to select negative scenario file also, and we need to select that conditional mediator file, right? So this one. So this one is this one. Okay. Conditional route API. So 3 file we need to use for accessing our API is working or not. So let's finish this one. So it is showing what carbon archive file successfully created in the given destination. Let's upload this file to verify our code is working or not. So go through EI like UI portal. So it's already signed out. Let me re-sign it again. Okay, it's already signed in. Now we need to go to this carbon application, add that file, that particular new file, choose that file. So this one is ConditionalRouter Mediator API, right? Open this one and upload it. So it is showing what your application has been uploaded successfully. Please refresh this page in a while to see the status of the new application. So just wait for a few seconds and refresh this UI. So now you can see it's like 22 running carbon application only. So let me refresh this one. So it is showing 23. So hopefully like okay, this one like newly created XML file and has been added here. So go through APIs here. So at least we need to verify, right, our code is working or not. So our file is not here. Go through second one. So conditional, right? So this is our new API, like just need to verify our code is working or not. Let me copy this endpoint. This is like API invocation URL. Okay. Then go through Postman. Let me add it here. Okay, one more thing, like as I mentioned, like we need to use add as a request body, right? So the method must be post. So let's verify like our API is resource is post or not. Click yes. Go through source, switch to source B. Okay, so there is one mistake I added here. So we need to modify this get to post. Scroll down and save this file. Okay. Just make sure like if there is any mistake in your code, so it's required to deploy the full car file. So for testing purpose, quickly like we can manage through UI. Okay, so it is showing successfully updated the API. Click OK. So let me go through next page again. Copy this endpoint again. So once you modified it, it will visibly like edited. Okay, go through Postman. So this is like our endpoint. So we need to modify this one to means get to post, because we are using some request body, right? Now go to body here. So inside body, click raw data and modify this text to JSON. Okay. So now let me go through our sample request. Let me copy this value. So here, let me add it here and beautify. So as per our like requirement, our payload I am passing here, and this is my conditional URL. So if I now send request, right, and go through log, it will take some second to print your API. So in Postman, it is showing what? It is showing 202 accepted, but we are not getting any response here. If you go through log, right, so in log it is showing what? Name matched. Okay, so our status we are getting what here? Name matched, but we are not getting any response here. So if I am passing here Kuna and send request, right, same like in Postman also I am getting 202, and if you go through here, so it is showing what? Please check your name again. That means like we are getting the correct response, but we are not getting the actual response in Postman. Then how we will resolve that one? So there is one limitation of this mediator, ConditionalRouter Mediator. So for achieve this one, I'll tell you like how we can do that one. So in ConditionalRouter Mediator API XML file, right, if you go through edit, click yes, go through source view. So here what we need to do, so if you see here, right, in conditional route, this is one conditional route and this is another like conditional route. So this asynchronous, like if you modify this one to false, and also this asynchronous, like we can modify to false here and save this file, right. So here it is showing what? It is showing successfully updated API. If you go through Postman again and send request, so here also again like 1 minute. So again like we are getting your word, please check your name, and here also we are getting please check your name, correct. Now like if I am passing here Narayan again, if I am passing here Narayan and send request, so same like we are getting name matched here, but here also we are not getting that one. So how we will achieve this one? So there is one more approach is there, I'll tell you. Go through next here, edit this one, click yes, go through switch to source view. So we are doing what? We are passing in one Respond Mediator, right. Remove this Respond Mediator from here. So let me cut this one. It's from the main XML file, okay, and save this file. So this one already updated successfully. Now we need to do what? that is one sequence option is here. If you go through sequence, and there is two type file we added, right? One for negative scenario, one for success scenario, correct? If you edit this one, click yes, and here switch to source view, edit this one. If you enter, if I add enter and add this, so if I'm adding here a Respond Mediator here, okay, I just deleted from the main XML file and added in sequence file. So let me copy this one and save this one for, this is for a negative scenario, and this, let me add this one for success scenario. Click yes, go through source property view. So after Log Mediator, I'm adding one more Respond Mediator here and save this file. So now if I go through Postman and send request again with the narrand, so here you can see, right, I'm getting the response like now, like from the request. So this is like one limitation, like on some limitation is there in the ConditionalRouter Mediator. And there is one more observation I got it, like if I'm passing again like Kuna here, just for your verification, it's and send request. So here you can see that I'm getting response in Postman. So the problem I'll tell you, if you go through APIs, this like this kind of activity you can do through UI. So it's a shortcut way, like you can try multiple option here. If you go through yes and go through source, switch to source view, right? So if you see here, there is, as I mentioned, like conditional break root true, right? And we added like conditional after this one. So that is an asynchronous, earlier it was there, right? If you go through source code, the earlier like one option was there, this asynchronous true, and this is asynchronous true. If I modify this one to false, so by default, while the run time, like while you are running this time, running the code, right, it will by default remove that one. So like this is one limitation, like if you remove this one and you will try, you will get the response. So hope like those who are watching this video, like ConditionalRouter Mediator, now they have at least idea like how they can able to achieve this mediator and how they can use their real-time activity. So thank you so much, like those who are watching my video, kindly like, share and subscribe my channel, so it will motivate me to make more videos. Thank you so much.